All right, welcome back to TACTALK. We're doing a special Monday episode today because I've had some, this past week, actually, for this past weekend since Thursday, we've had some developing events here currently that I felt that was important to speak on the matter in. And we're doing a special Monday broadcast because I was just in court this morning and got some very good news, so I wanted to share that. So, jumping right into it, mother of my children, both my girls, haven't seen them since September 15th. The mother tried to modify our parenting plan or do a modification or petition to a modification of a parenting plan under false allegations. So since then, Child Protective Services here out of Lakewood, Washington has been in regular touch with me because they're requesting that she does a mental evaluation because obviously she's for some reason, I don't know why people do, I'm not going to say why women do certain things, but why people do certain things. To me, and it's my opinion, sorry about that. It's a way to control the relationship through the children. If you're mad at the significant other, if you're mad at the second party, you want to hurt them, and it's your own ego doing it. You want to hurt them with what you can hurt them with the most, and it's the children. So, fortunately for me, because I've been biding my time, I've been bowing my head, I've been keeping my patience. Child Protective Services, as I'm going to, since it was dismissed today, her petition to modify the parenting plan was dismissed. I provided adequate cause showing that she was full of shit and that she was making up false allegations. And this is all public record, so it's like I've got nothing to hide. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just having to deal with that crazy baby mama drama. And that's what she is. She is now a crazy baby mama, and I've got some drama with that shit. It's freaking annoying. So, as much as she hated that term while we were together, she's earned that term now. So, today I should be getting my children about 6 p.m. today. I have her meeting up with me at the Lakewood Police Department, because I have plans to go for full custody right after. So, she's trying to violate my current parenting plan. So, just in case before we even left the courthouse today, my aunt Billy and I went and got a contempt of court docket from the law library at the Pierce County Superior Court. She's just started. She's been in contempt of court orders before. I just got to go get the CAD reports on them from the Lakewood Municipal Court now. But yeah, it's great doing your own paralegal work. We're 2.5 minutes in. I don't want to talk about this anymore. But do wish me luck. I get my girls tonight. I'm very, very, very excited, and I'm very, very, very happy. I miss my babies, so they didn't deserve to be taken from me, and I didn't deserve to be taken from them. So wish me luck on that. Moving on. I wanted to talk about this bomber. This is the guy who sent the bombs in the mail. I felt it was odd to begin with. I had mentioned it on Thursday's TACTALK episode 13, about, this is they're very suspicious turn of events when it comes to how the news media was released. And specifically, what was suspicious was the fact that the postage stamps hadn't been canceled out from the actual post office themselves. So they said that they found the bomber. FBI, I guess, they can come up with no conclusions when it matters, and they come up with conclusions when it doesn't really matter, I guess. But none of these bombs actually detonated. None of the bombs were actually legitimately put together. They caught a guy who said that they caught him by, apparently he had a van in Florida just completely covered in Trump stickers and Republican-based stickers and stickers that support that right-wing agenda. And I do need to tell you guys, when you go far right, it means no government control. When you go far left, it means absolute government control. So when you claim this guy was a far-right extremist, he was a far-right extremist not wanting any government control. He'd rather the people be the people, the freedom. But your far-left extremists, which is there is a thing of far-left extremists, they want absolute government control. So keep that in mind when someone says he was a right-wing extremist. He just didn't want any government involved. So apparently he was trying to send bombs to people in offices, and Robert De Niro being one of them. But moving on. They said they caught him. What's even more suspicious, and I haven't done too much cross-referencing of the research myself. I do have some reliable sources, my own, that have shared their findings with me. But apparently he was a registered Democrat not that long ago, and just recently became a registered Republican. So it's one of those things where like I say, it's one of those false flag Reichstag theater. Let's pin the blame on this group while we're getting ready for this kind of event. So that way when that event comes, all those people... And I'll tell you how this trick actually works. It stems from law enforcement. I got to do a lot of contracting work with law enforcement. And one of the things I was taught by law enforcement is, and listen closely to this, if you need to take down a perpetrator, Even if you feel that you're in the wrong as law enforcement officer, you gotta take this down. You know, he's had a bad attitude, whatever your findings is to make that a legal arrest. You want to be the loudest and most convincing in the crowd. So, for example, I tell you to calm down, or I'm going to arrest you. Obviously, you haven't broken any laws. I'm going to have to charge you with resisting arrest, but there's no former arresting charge, so obviously all this crap. If I simply yell as a police officer, drop the knife, and I point my gun at you and I tackle you down and we arrest you, when they come to interview the people who are witnesses, someone's going to eventually down the road go, well, I heard there was a knife, and that's an automatic guilty. So it's like they can take you to jail after that, because now supposedly there's witnesses who have witnessed the knife being used, or even if they never saw the knife, they heard that there was a knife involved from the witnessing encounter itself. So keep that in mind when it comes to how that works. If the election comes and the Democrats are, the Republicans are sexually assaulting the Democrats, and the Republicans are sending bombs to us Democrats. They're extremists. They're violent. Well, people are going to tend to lean far left because the Democrats seem more of the safe haven group as opposed to the Republicans, and not leaning far right because they're being painted as someone who's vigilante and violent. So that's what it seems like. They tried their the Democrats are really going to lose this next election. Even in my own home state here in Washington State, we have a red wave going where these Democrats are proposing new taxes that aren't necessary, that are actually detrimental to, like, the state income tax, a carbon tax. We have a Democrat governor, Jay Inslee, who just, let's tax your shoes because you use them to walk. Let's tax the streets because you walk on the streets. Let's tax the air that you breathe. Like, it's just ridiculous. And, we used to hang politicians back in the day for comments like this. We used to hang politicians for not upholding their offices and their oath of the office. So, what happened to those days? They're a lot more... There's a lot less crime in certain countries because they still allow for public beheadings. So, as cruel as it may seem, it does set the example for others not to F up. So, we're going to take a short break with the commercial break here. Like I said, I'm really excited about today. I wanted to get that out there, share that, because you guys listening to me. You guys, I owe you that explanation. I owe you all that. You guys need to know, you guys deserve to be kept in the loop of what's going on. So if I'm not able to deliver on my promise because of my personal life affecting that, and you guys are there seeing my personal life, then I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a great father, and I have a crazy baby mama, and I had something to deal with that. And this whole bomber situation, it's just been kind of amusing to watch it unfold over the weekend. So I thought I'd highlight that so you guys can know that I kind of see the bullshit through it. I mean, the synagogue shooting is much more of a deal than this bombing thing. Or this fake bombing thing. But, alright, we'll be right back on this commercial break. Bees Combat Systems at beescombatsystems.com. Protecting those who prepare. 801-987-0893. For custom body armor carriers and tactical gear for military, law enforcement, contractors, corporate security, responsible citizens, and border patrol. Bees Combat Systems at beescombatsystems.com. 801-987-0893. Alright, and welcome back to TACTALK, episode 14. I'm your host, Alden Morris. One thing I want to speak with you on the second half of the show is something that hits home, real close to home. And it's the Seattle police officer stuck with a needle at North Seattle Park. I'm just gonna read the article here from Cairo. Here, it's just this is why I don't agree with safe injection sites. This is why I don't agree. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't believe in the war on drugs. I think all drugs should be legal. I think a pamphlet should be handed out at special little stores or pharmacy stores or drug stores, whatever you want to call them, that educate you on your substance. I mean, this is America. You have the choice to put whatever you want in your body, as long as you don't harm or stop someone else's pursuit of happiness. Don't harm them. Victimless crimes are stupid in my honest. Like, if you go to jail for a plant, I mean, we're gonna look back at this in 100 years. We're gonna feel so stupid, just like we look back at the times we hung scientists for saying that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe. So things like that, or not even hung them, we burned them at the stake. So we look back and we kind of consider ourselves stupid for that. But back then, at that time, you had people who supported it. People who were like, how dare he be blasphemous? How dare he be a heretic? So I'm just going to read this article. We'll get it out of the way, but I'll share why with you, why it hits home for me. A Seattle police officer was struck by a dirty needle at a North Seattle park. According to police, the veteran officer is part of the navigation team focusing on the homeless situation in the city. He was walking through Baker Park on Crown Hill on Monday when he stepped on a needle in the grass, police said. The needle went through the sole of his boot and stabbed his foot, and the officer was taken to a hospital to be examined, Sergeant Sean Whitcomb said. He also brought the needle so he could be tested. As a precaution, the officer was given immunizations and given a variety of drugs to fight HIV, according to the department. He was still home recovering on Friday. Seattle Police Department says if you spot a needle at a park where it could be a hazard, call 911. They will either pick it up or contact the right department to handle it. Whitcomb said if a needle can go through a police officer's boot, it can easily go through a tennis shoe or a dress shoe. He said having an officer struck by a needle is very rare. He said officers are highly trained and wear special gloves during searches. Cairo 7 was at the park on Friday and noticed the grass looked at it like it had been recently cut. In 2014, a random man in Seattle was pricked with a syringe and told, "Welcome to the HIV club." At the time, Dr. Shirisha Denrady, if I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, of Harborview Medical Center told Cairo 7 there was a low risk of victim being infected with an HIV. If the needle was visibly bloody and it had been recently drawn from an HIV-infected person, the risk is 3%, 0.3%, Dr. Denrady said. She added that the risk is even lower if the victim was treated with post-exposure prophylaxis treatment, or PEP, within hours of getting pricked by the needle. This is what the officer received. Dr. Denrady said that the chances of infection would be decreased up to 80% with that treatment. It's a very low chance. We never say zero, but it's a very low chance, particularly because we don't know the source status. So, when I was third grade, I was living in Portland, Oregon. Sitting by a bus stop. Portland, Oregon was very well known for being a very, very trashy, ghetto, violent area. Southeast Portland, Oregon. Especially the areas that I lived in. I didn't live in a very good area. And I was living with my mother and stepfather at the time with my sister. And one day we were waiting for the school bus, and a couple of my friends at that time, we had seen a pile of needles. Obviously, we didn't know what they were. We didn't know any better. We didn't know about heroin use and things like that. But, the fact that you're a kid and you see a needle and it's orange, it's got a little cap on it. Some didn't have caps. Some had weird, we picked them up and we kind of played with them. And one actually poked me in the finger. And I had mentioned this to the bus driver because obviously I didn't want to get in trouble for having a damn needle. And the bus driver didn't. This is how I learned. This is why this story sticks with me. The bus driver didn't get upset with me. The bus driver got scared for me. And that's what made me, what happened? What's going on? Uh-oh. So the bus driver said, "Young man, we had to call the nurse. We had to get your school." So we had gotten the nurse involved. And from what I remember, we were transported to a medical facility. My mom was there. My stepfather was there. I hate calling him my stepfather, but that's besides the point. Basically, this ghetto area, I found a needle that could have been infected with HIV or drugs, whatever. And I was given the same treatment that this officer was, too, for the children's dosage. I had to stay home for a couple days. We had to get blood reports. I had to take like 3 vials of blood. I was really little. I didn't know what I got myself into. But I remember that my mom was crying a lot. And my mom said that this could be serious. And as I got older, I grew to better understand, because you go through that in 5th grade, I believe, here in Washington State, when I moved back up here with my grandmother. You go through the sexual education courses. And I was in 3rd grade at this time. So I learned about HIV 2 years later. So I was having to go through these medical testing, these procedures to ensure I didn't have HIV, in which I don't. I'm clean. So it's like I was just a kid who got pricked by a needle and I was being stupid. But that's why this story sticks out with me so bad, because from what I understand, the officer is still at home recovering and he's scared. It's not one of those things where like, oh shit. No, it's one of those things that this could change your life. This could ruin your life. And who's going to be held accountable for this? Nobody. And that's because the city of Seattle is encouraging homelessness. The city of Seattle is standing down with these Antifa protesters. The city of Seattle, our mayor of Seattle, we already gone through the exodus of the police officers in Seattle. I mean, they're putting out billboards in Montana for come work for the Seattle Police Department. Are you kidding with me? Our own police departments here in King County and Pierce County, Snohomish County, Kitsap County, Thurston County, they don't want anything to do with Seattle. They don't want to be there. They don't have to stand down when people violate the law and they close off roads here in Seattle. They're done. They're done. And it's because Seattle's being ran by Democrats and they're running it into the ground. And I would not blame the officer if he didn't go back to work ever again for the police department. I would actually encourage him not to go back to work anymore for the Seattle Police Department. That's because his life is in danger, not because of the job he chose or the occupation he chose and the situations he might be forced to put himself in, but simply because he could get HIV cleaning up a park in his community. It's that simple. That's what makes me sad about this. So we're coming up on our end of our show. I want you guys to tune in tomorrow. We'll have more information for you tomorrow, especially if I get my girls tonight. Prepared to have to, like I said, prepared. I got the contempt of court paperwork already filed, or not filed, but already filled out and ready to be filed in case things don't go my way tonight. And I got an attorney, Cameron Pearson. I might switch attorneys, I don't know, because he's mostly out of King County, but we got an attorney to pursue this, all this off in family court. So wish me luck. I've been really motivated because I know you guys are listening. I know you guys are out there supporting me. I know you guys share these videos. It makes me happy. And like I said, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will be back on tomorrow. You guys have a good night.